Welcome to Unstoppable Mind Today, where we explore the hidden stories that shape our lives and define our true purpose. Meet Elena, a 28-year-old project manager who treats every single second of her life like a precious commodity to be traded. She lives her life in the fast lane, listening to educational podcasts at double speed while burning calories before dawn breaks. Multitasking is not just a skill for her. It is a religion she practices devoutly every moment she is awake. She eats breakfast not for enjoyment, but for fuel, consuming nutrients while answering emails that could easily wait for another hour. To Elena, efficiency is the ultimate virtue, and anyone walking too slowly on the sidewalk is simply an obstacle to success. In the corporate world, she is a rising star, known for delivering results faster than anyone else in her entire department. Her digital life is a blur of notifications and updates, a constant stream of information that she processes without ever pausing. She plans every second of her day, believing that if she fills every moment, she will finally feel accomplished and complete. But beneath the surface of this high-speed performance, something vital is slowly beginning to crack under the immense pressure of perfection. She ignores the subtle signs of burnout, convincing herself that fatigue is just a weakness leaving the body, not a warning. It is her 29th birthday, a night that should be a celebration of her achievements, yet she feels strangely hollow inside. Suddenly, the noise of the party fades into a dull roar, and the room begins to spin uncontrollably around her. Her grip fails, and the glass shatters on the floor, a sharp sound that pierces through the fog in her mind. She struggles to breathe, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird, realizing she has lost all control. This was the moment the unstoppable machine finally broke down, forcing her to confront the emptiness she had been running from. The doctors called it a severe panic attack induced by chronic stress, a physical rebellion against her relentless lifestyle and ambition. Her sister sat beside her and whispered the truth she needed to hear. "You are just existing, Elena. You are not living." Returning home, the silence of her apartment felt deafening, amplifying the question that now haunted her every waking thought. She tried to return to her routine, but her body refused to cooperate, rejecting the toxic pace she had maintained for years. Recognizing the need for a drastic change, her sister drove her away from the city noise to a place forgotten by time. They arrived at a humble bakery on the edge of town, where the air smelled sweetly of yeast and toasted flour. This was the domain of Mrs. Rosa, a master baker who had been kneading dough with love for 47 years. Elena felt out of place in this slow-moving world, where there were no ticking clocks or urgent notifications demanding her attention. Mrs. Rosa didn't offer sympathy. Instead, she offered Elena a simple apron and a place at the heavy wooden work table. Elena's first instinct was to ask how long the process would take, hoping to schedule the baking into her mental planner. The old baker simply smiled and removed the watch, stating that the yeast does not care about your busy schedule. She showed Elena how to knead, using movements that were firm yet gentle, a rhythm that required patience rather than force. Elena attacked the dough with her usual intensity, trying to rush the process, but the mixture only became sticky and unmanageable. Frustration bubbled up quickly, as she was used to instant results and systems that obeyed her commands without question or delay. Mrs. Rosa stopped her and shared a piece of wisdom that would change Elena's life forever. "Slow down, breathe, and feel." She explained that baking is not a task to be completed, but a relationship to be nurtured with time and attention. For the first time in years, Elena closed her eyes and took a breath that wasn't shallow or rushed. Then came the lesson that struck Elena's core. How you do one thing, my dear, is how you do everything. If you knead with anxiety and haste, the bread will be tough. If you live with anxiety, your life becomes hard. She began again, trying to match the rhythm of her breath to the movement of her hands, finding a new pace. It wasn't perfect, but for that hour, Elena wasn't a manager or a success story. She was just a human being. The hardest part was the waiting, sitting in silence while the dough rose, with no phone to distract her from herself. She returned the next day, and the day after that, trading her power suits for comfortable clothes that allowed her to move. With each passing day, the bakery became her sanctuary, a place where the only deadline was determined by the rising dough. She learned to laugh at her mistakes, realizing that a misshapen loaf was not a failure, but simply part of the learning. She discovered the beauty of doing absolutely nothing, watching the rain fall without feeling the guilt of wasting productive time. As the dough rose and expanded, something inside Elena began to expand as well, a sense of space and freedom she had lost. By the third week, her hands moved with a memory of their own, understanding the texture and needs of the living dough. She learned that sometimes you must be decisive and sharp, but only when the time is exactly right for action. The transformation in the oven was magical, a testament to the patience and care that had been poured into the preparation. The smell of fresh bread filled her senses, grounding her in the present moment more effectively than any meditation app ever could. She brought the bread home, not as a trophy of success, but as a gift of love to share with others. They ate slowly, savoring the crust and the crumb, talking about dreams and feelings instead of schedules and project deadlines. Elena began to apply Mrs. Rosa's philosophy to the rest of her life, slowing down to notice the world around her. When she finally returned to work, she was different. The frantic energy was replaced by a calm, steady, and powerful presence. She listened to her colleagues with the same attention she gave the dough, understanding that people also need time to rise. She learned to set boundaries, understanding that true productivity comes from a rested mind, not a burnt-out and exhausted soul. The meals she once rushed through became rituals of nourishment, moments to pause and be grateful for the food before her. Her leadership style transformed from demanding efficiency to cultivating growth, inspiring her team to work with purpose rather than fear. Mornings were no longer a race against the clock, but a quiet time for reflection, journaling, and setting a positive intention. Mrs. Rosa had given her more than just a recipe for bread. She had given her a recipe for a meaningful life. The bond between them remained strong, a reminder that the most important connections are built on patience, care, and shared humanity. Now, every weekend, Elena bakes bread in her own kitchen, a ritual that keeps her grounded in the present moment. Elena found that by slowing down, she didn't lose time. She actually gained the ability to truly experience the time she had. The city still moves fast around her, but Elena carries a quiet sanctuary within herself that no chaos can ever disturb. If you are feeling the weight of the world, remember Elena's journey and the wisdom of the humble baker, Mrs. Rosa. Take a moment to breathe, to disconnect from the noise, and to reconnect with the simple, tangible rhythm of your own life. Don't let your life pass you by in a blur of motion. Stop to taste the bread and watch the sunset. True success is not about how much you do, but about how much love and attention you put into what you do. Time is the one resource we cannot renew, so spend it on things that nourish your soul and bring you peace. Elena taught her team that a job well done requires presence, and that a happy worker is always better than a fast one. Her influence spread, transforming a toxic work culture into one that valued human well-being alongside professional achievement and quarterly targets. She reconnected with her family, realizing that relationships are the yeast that makes the bread of life rise and have flavor. On her 30th birthday, there was no panic, only gratitude for the year of growth and the lessons she had learned. She even started reading for pleasure again, getting lost in stories without worrying if they were making her smarter or more productive. Her body, once a vessel for stress, became a temple of peace, moving with intention and grace. Through her morning yoga practice, the do not disturb mode on her phone became her best friend, protecting her peace from the constant demands of the world. She learned that rainy days are not inconveniences, but invitations to rest, to reflect, and to simply be cozy inside. Elena and Mrs. Rosa started baking for the local shelter, spreading the love and warmth of their bread to those in need. Service to others became a new pillar of her life, replacing the self-centered pursuit of career advancement and personal accolades. In the silence of meditation, she found the answers that no podcast, audiobook, or productivity seminar could ever provide her. She sold the treadmill and started running outdoors, feeling the wind on her face and the solid earth beneath her feet. Running became a joy rather than a punishment, a way to celebrate her body's strength rather than to burn off calories. When people asked for her secret to success, she would simply smile and say, "I learned to bake bread and breathe." A simple sticky note on her monitor served as a daily reminder to return to the breath whenever stress tried to take over. Leaving work on time became an act of rebellion and self-respect, setting a powerful example for everyone else in the office. She stopped rushing past the beauty of the world, taking time to appreciate the music, the art, and the life around her. Moments of pure joy, like playing with a dog or watching a child laugh, became the new metrics of her success. She wrote letters by hand, understanding that the time taken to write showed more love than a quickly typed text message. Every interaction became an opportunity for kindness, a chance to brighten someone else's day with a smile or a word. She finally liked the woman she saw in the mirror, not for what she achieved, but for who she had become. Old friends remarked on her glow, seeing a light in her that had been dimmed by years of stress and ambition. Her vulnerability gave others permission to slow down, to breathe, and to question the frantic pace of their own lives. The bakery remained her anchor, a place where she could always return to the fundamental truths of patience and transformation. She learned that work is good, but rest is holy, and that you cannot have one without the others to sustain it. She stopped trying to control the weather of her life and started learning how to dance in the rain instead. Sleep became a restorative sanctuary, deep and dreamless, fueling her for days lived with intention rather than adrenaline. She woke up with the sun, not because an alarm forced her to, but because her body was in rhythm with nature. The simple ritual of making tea became a daily meditation, a reminder to savor the warmth and the aroma of the present. Her calendar now had white space, breathing room that allowed for spontaneity, creativity, and the unexpected magic of life. She learned to say no to things that drained her, so she could say a wholehearted yes to things that mattered. Nature became her therapist, the trees her silent mentors, teaching her about growth, resilience, and the changing of seasons. Her relationship with her sister blossomed, rooted in shared experiences and present moments rather than brief, distracted phone calls. She began to write her own story, not the one society expected of her, but the one her soul needed to live. Her life, like the bread, had gone through the fire and come out transformed, nourished, substantial, and ready to be shared. If you are running a race you didn't sign up for, remember that you have the power to stop and breathe. Thank you for watching Unstoppable Mind today. Remember to breathe, stay present, and subscribe for more stories that awaken your soul.